Hello again. Here are for you Tatjana
And
and you.
Judith, hello everyone.
So, this is the
Yes,
second issue of our little podcast, off-season podcast, and we are happy that you are back to listen to us or to watch us.
your second episode. I hope all of you or many of you watched the first episode already and hope you enjoyed it. And yes, we try to bring you some news every week. And 1 week passed and we have quite some news again. Should we start with the Challenger series?
Yeah.
The schedule came out.
Yeah, the ISU published the 10 Challenger Series events, and so everybody can prepare where they want to go, skaters and also fans, of course.
Yes.
And there's two challenges for the first time. That Japan has one in Osaka, and Georgia has one in Tbilisi, which is the capital of Georgia. So two new events.
Yes, it was quite full of surprises, to be honest. It really changed quite a bit from last season. And yeah, these two new events, very exciting, I think. Japan, did they ever have a challenger or is it the very first time ever? Especially, at least since I follow figure skating that closely, they haven't had a challenger.
No, I'm also very sure because I mean the Challenger series itself has been
Yeah.
introduced some years ago, quite a few years ago now, but I don't think they ever had a challenger. And of course, it makes sense because they have so many good skaters, and instead of sending them to so many competitions all over the world, it's convenient to have one event at home for them, and also for other Asian skaters, like from uh,
Exactly.
China,
So far,
Korea. It's close.
there was exactly there was no well, there was one in China a few
Yeah,
years back, I think, but not often there's a challenger in Asia, and I think especially the Asian skaters will look forward to. I also know that some European skaters are looking at Japan and be like another opportunity to travel to Japan.
yeah,
So, but it's a very early challenger. It's right after the one in the US, who is always super, super, super early. The singles already skating in August. Yeah, it's already
beginning of
ahead of
August.
the. Yeah, very early. So, but very, very exciting. Osaka. I'm sure they will do an excellent event like all the events in Japan.
Yeah,
And then
well,
Georgia, yes.
yeah. I just want to say, but for the Osaka Challenger, it's going to be the 5th to 7th September, and it will be in that rink. There was a um, Junior Grand Prix a few years ago, so like 2 years
Ah,
ago,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, near the airport. So that's where the location is. And yeah, and then the second challenger that in Georgia is on the beginning of
New one.
October, October 8th to 11th. So that's also
And
exciting,
then,
I think.
yeah, they had the EOF, this EOF, European Youth Festival. That was in Georgia already this winter. And I remember also the Georgian skaters, they were all very excited to have an event. I remember Nika Agatsu said he worked there as a volunteer opening the gates for the skaters. Maybe, I guess now he will skate himself. I mean, Georgia is really growing the figure skating section, so it makes sense that they do want to have the challenger, and I think all of their top skaters, of course, will be skating there.
Yeah, I think so too. It's and it has also pair skating because not all of the challenges include pair skating. Like the one in the US,
Yes.
the Cranberry Cup doesn't, but then there is the separate pair skating event from that one. But there's no ice dance.
The Osaka one. I think Osaka has pairs.
Osaka has
The
pairs,
Oberstdorf,
yes. Yes, Nebelhorn
Nebelhorn Trophy has
traditionally.
pairs.
And Nebelhorn and Nepala Memorial are at the same time, September
Yes,
25th.
that I found a little bit confusing, and yeah, because both locations aren't actually that far from each other, skaters will have to choose.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
I don't know what
because
to think about that. For myself, I like to go to both events usually.
yeah, I also would like
But
I've been in the past, I went to both, but I think it's because Nebelhorn Trophy was moved a week.
yeah, from the
Yeah.
qualifier, yeah, for
Yeah, Olympic qualifier, so that's
uh,
why it was moved, and and then I guess Bratislava didn't want to move or couldn't move, and anyway, then the schedule is quite tight. Yeah,
yeah.
but
I
so we'll see.
remember things like Laila and Lewis always enjoy to go to both events back to back, and I think a couple of other skaters as well. They will have to look for an alternative now because they can't split themselves.
No,
Yeah.
no. Also, I remember last season there was Walter Virtanen. He went
Ah, going to
because
two
well,
same.
there were two events that were overlapping, but he could do both by leaving immediately. I mean, he did that. Was it, I think, Tallinn Hotels Cup and Merano Cup, something like that. And then he
Yeah.
left and did it like somehow the schedule permitted it, but it was of course crazy. So I don't think
But
anyone
I
wants.
don't think at the beginning of the season anyone will
No, no,
want to
no.
do
I
that.
think
Would want to do
no,
that.
no. I don't think you. That was like, unless there's an emergency of some kind. You won't need to do that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we also learned that Skate America will be in Lake Placid again.
Lake Placid, yes. I've never been to Lake Placid, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going this time because it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm sorry, it's very hard to get there. I mean, yeah, there's not even an airport there.
No,
Like the next
no.
airport yeah.
Actually, there's an
So the
airport
next airport
in.
you have,
Yeah, there's an airport in. Well, Montreal is actually not so far away. Uh,
yeah, but then you would have to rent a car and
yeah,
cross
and
the border from Canada to the US, which we learned nowadays is not always that easy.
exactly. So that's and then I remember last time when because it was already last time was in 2017 with Aljona and Bruno. And
Mhm.
there was the airport I went to was Albany in New York.
Yeah,
Albany, yeah. And then from there was the transportation. But yeah, it's long, so it's not so easy
not
to
convenient
reach
to get there, I'm afraid. Yeah.
if you don't have a car. I
But yeah,
mean, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And car rental prices in the US are crazy these days.
Mm.
So yeah, I am very doubtful. Like actually I've been to four, no, 3 or 4 Skate Americas now in a row. Maybe not this year, but I'm sure Lake Placid will be a good event. Also, it's much later. Of course, most of you know probably already that this year the Grand Prix series will not skate at Skate America. Skating America actually is the 5th event only in the middle of November.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had to switch with France because France, which is in Angers again, they couldn't use a later date because of an ice
Yeah.
hockey tournament. Yeah, and then I also heard that Cup of China probably will be in Chongqing, but I don't think there
Again.
again, like last year, but I don't think there has been an official confirmation for that yet.
I don't think so either.
And
Yeah.
also they
Uh,
apparently want to have a
maybe
Grand
it's
Prix final in Chongqing, so in the post-Olympic season.
also Olympic season. All right. Another one
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too excited about. But yeah. All right. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
No, now we get to the there was some news that was very shocking for many fans, maybe not too shocking for us, but we have a new Japanese ice dance couple. And
yes.
Ikura Kushida teams up with Koshiro Shimada. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
interesting. So that they
both
decided to
single
team up.
skaters, yes,
Yeah, I'm looking for the I will
and switch
put
to ice
the
dance. Yes.
yeah, here. So, can you see? Here's the post.
Koshiro announced that. I mean, in this post, he basically said that he decided to end his singles career, which was a little bit sentimental. I mean, who knows me knows that I've been following Koshiro from his very early years on. I remember him at 16 skating to Adios. Now everyone thinks Adios is the song of Jason Brown and the Japanese pairs, but for me, it's Koshiro's song. He I followed this one of the skaters. I followed his career from the very beginning, and it's kind of sad that this chapter ends, but it's kind of very thrilling and exciting that he doesn't step away from the sport, but he continues his career. And to be honest, the first time Koshiro told me he's thinking about switching to ice dance was already like 3 or 4 years ago in the summer when I was in Champéry. It was, yeah, I did some ice dance tryouts, and yeah, maybe in the future that's something for him. It's really, maybe it's already been 4 years ago, so it has been in his mind for quite a while. And also um he did it's also not totally new that he's skating with Ikura, because they tried out already last off season. They did quite some training together, but back then Koshiro told me Ikura wasn't sure yet. And I think now she is convinced. I mean, she still wants to continue her singles career. And Tanya, there was like a little, little, maybe nice story on this side, because last year we were both at the Junior Grand Prix in Riga, where Ikura Kushida skated, of course, in singles. She had a very good short program. This Michael Bublé short program with the pink, the purple skirt, like very expressive. And as we knew already that she's considering maybe doing ice dance with Koshiro, we told her after this short program, you have very good dancing skills. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but
yeah, but it's true. It's true. She really has.
yeah, and he's a little bit taller
They're
too,
both.
so that looks good. So I can really see them together. And I guess that they plan their debut in a show in August, Friends on Ice. So will be interesting.
Yes.
And of course, I guess I hope that they are then in for the long term, because Japan needs obviously also strong ice dance teams. Right now, the ice dance team did not qualify for the Olympics spot. They have to go to Beijing for the qualifier. And of course, it won't be Koshiro at this time. Highly
This time.
unlikely because they are so new. But one of the other, probably Utana Yoshida, and her partner will go, and then they have also, because they need the ice dance team for the team event too. But there, if the team doesn't qualify, they still have the chance. There's still the possibility to get in just for the team event. Um,
Yes.
yeah, there's 5 spots
Ah,
that
very
can be used for that. So there will be a Japanese ice dance team, at least in the team
at
event.
the Olympics,
Yeah,
the team
but they
event,
need a strong
definitely.
uh, team in the future. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
will see how Koshiro and Ikura fit in there. As we just said, they are not entirely new. They did already some practices last season. We will see. We will see. I'm very excited for that, how they fit in.
but we don't know yet where
Yeah,
they will train, really.
exactly. They didn't announce that. But you had a good point earlier when you said that Ikura, actually, as she wants to continue skating in singles, maybe they will stay in the Kinoshita Academy, where she actually, I think she is coached by Mia Hamada in
Yeah, and
singles.
then she can skate both, and then they probably will work mainly with Cassie Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we
Yeah.
will see how that develops, and maybe there will be also some videos in the future. Also, that brings us to a little news that the ISU has also published some ice dance updates. The now officially update of the rhythm dance for the next season is the 90s. There's some information about that. And what I think, well, the most new or interesting, unusual point was that the junior the juniors, they have to do two compulsory dance sequences. So last year it was a paso doble, and this year for the first time they have to do two different ones. They have to do the rumba and the quick step. So that's something interesting to
have
see how that will look
more
like and how that
variety
will
for
work
the
out. Yeah. And other than
yeah.
that, I didn't see any major changes to the elements content. And yeah, then we will also see how that works out with the 90s. Skaters liked it mostly when we asked them, so
Yeah.
could be
Like
nice.
I personally think it's maybe not the most variety, but we also know it's partly because they wanted to have modern music, but because of the music rights and the difficulties, we will maybe discuss this in a future podcast soon because it got so difficult with the music rights
Yeah.
that the 90s were easier. I personally feel like it's a bit similar. We had the 80s, the 60s, 70s,
Well, we had
50s, 60s,
50s
70s, and
to
now the 90s.
50s to 70s.
70s, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
not the most creative choice of the 90s, but there's a lot of fun 90s music. So I think there's, of course, space for the ice dancers to get creative.
Yeah, there should be a lot of
Also,
music choices, and it says in that rule, in that communication, they want to see energetic and crowd-pleasing dances. So yeah, but
yeah.
there's a lot like boy bands and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I was also thinking a lot of these I mean, ice dancers tend to be a little bit older, and there's quite some ice dancers who actually grew up in the 90s or were like kids.
yeah,
Yeah,
but they
but
were
it was
young.
yeah, yeah,
They were still young
but
because
still
I
when you were like six,
Yeah, when I was talking to
yeah,
Charlene Guignan and Marco Fabri in the interview I did with them, and then they said that we discussed this, of course, too, and they said that they were still quite young because he in 2000 he was 12 and she was 11. So they grew up, but they were very young. And when you get more interested into music, it is when you're a little bit older, when you are in your early
yeah,
teens
so they blend
probably.
yeah,
So and that will be then the same for, like, I think Evan Bates is also
both of them,
88.
yeah,
Yeah,
at that age,
born 88.
yeah.
So they are all the older dance teams are where, yeah, so they were still very young in the 90s. And they said for them, of course, the after, like, in the 2000 years, that would be, but as you said,
That would
it
have
was
been
not.
more they do. They
Yeah,
do.
that would have been more
Yeah.
for them, but closer to them, I mean. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I see what you
Yeah, and then only one more little news I might bring up, that still don't know who is going to be is going to compete for an Olympic spot for the neutral athletes. I mean, yeah, from Russia and Belarus. There hasn't been an announcement, but the um, Russian Federation, apparently skating federation, will hold a camp in yeah, how you say in English? It's like for the national team, like the champs camp in the US, to monitor
like
their skaters in mid-August, and the main for the whole national team, but the main purpose is to check the condition of the skaters that have been selected to compete, but we don't know yet. But these I tomorrow, actually Monday on the 12th, is ISU council meeting, so maybe it will be decided then. And but we have to wait and see if we have any names. So
yeah, I mean, there's the names going around, but yeah, it would be
yeah,
exciting, of course,
yeah,
to
yeah.
know
I
who
mean,
it is.
there's the obvious who could it be, and
Yes,
yeah, the top skaters in Russia. We know who they are. So, and we'll see if they have been selected, and also if they have been approved. So that's because that is also important. They need to be approved by the ISU.
I'm just like maybe this is also good for this talk because I mean obviously the top ice team is Stefano Babukin, but they're coached by Julien, and Julien definitely will not be approved.
Yeah, he actually
What
said
do you
so
think?
that he's not approved.
Okay, so it's already official. So if Stefano Babukin are chosen, they have to go with another coach, obviously.
Yes, yes, yeah. But Julien only he said that he has been told that he is not going anywhere. Yeah, but that's not a
Yeah,
big
I mean, obviously.
surprise. Yeah,
No, definitely not. But do
but
you
there are
know if
other.
then Stefano Babukin have to officially change their coaching team, or can they be still coached by Julien in Russia and just go with another coach to the Olympics?
Well, I think if
Or don't you
if
know?
the coach is not approved, that if they are training with him, that would not affect their selection. But then he just will not be approved to go to the event. So
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
they just have to bring another coach then to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But there are also it's not
I
there are
mean,
several
I
coaches in
don't know
that
who
club.
teaches that.
So I mean, yeah, and they're old enough also to to compete to skate with another coach if they are
Yeah,
selected.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's it for today.
For today. I hope you enjoyed the news and maybe the little insiders. And yes,
We will be
let us
back.
know which challenges you plan for the film. We'll be back next week, hopefully, with the guests. Stay tuned for that and have a wonderful week, everyone.
Yes. Okay, take care. Bye bye.